Hi everyone, this is Conjure Mama and I am back with an update. So if you may have noticed, I have not been posting that much for the past couple of weeks. If you follow me on Instagram, you would know that we have been looking for a house and we were in the process, or we were trying to move, and I made a post about a month ago or a couple of weeks ago saying that I won't be able to answer any queries. I won't be able to do any kind of spell work. I won't be able to read for people because I was busy and we were under this conundrum. And in that post, I also mentioned that I am going to explain what happened in detail because I feel like people need to understand. A lot of people waited. So here it is. Here is the explanation. So, just a little backgrounder for those of you who do not know, I live in the Philippines. Um, so, I live in Cavite, and there is a house on the left side of our house. So we have this house, this lot, and on the other side, on the right side, there is a house there. Um, we're not connected. We are separated by a wall and a garden. And we also have a house on the left side, obviously. You know, obviously, we have houses on both sides. But anyway, so this story is kind of connected, as I have mentioned in my Instagram post. If you have not seen it, I have mentioned that it's kind of connected to the TikTok video that I have created about a month ago. So, I am going to show the video here. I'm just going to cut the video so that you can see it. Again, a little background. Way back then, I think it was back in 2009 until 2016, everything was going smoothly here. This whole street that we live in is a very, very happy, lively street. So a lot of kids would always play outside. The house on our right side was always very lively. Every Sunday, they would always have this, mini party for all of the families, because I think there were like 3 families that were living there. So they were always lively, they were always loud. And at some point, we kind of got mad at them because they were always loud, right? And yeah, they were always happy. But then back in 2017, at that time, there were only 6 people living in that house on the right side of our house. So there were 6 people living there. The mother, the father, there are 3 children, and they're not really kids anymore, they're adults. So there are 3 children, and then the mother's sister, so the children's aunt. There were 6 of them. And then every year we just noticed that there was a pattern. They would always have a death yearly. So the first person who died from that side was the aunt, and then it was followed by the eldest brother, and then it was followed by the youngest brother, and then it was followed by the mother. So the mother's death happened last year. And then this year, the this year, the father died. So after the father died, we actually didn't know, as I have mentioned in my video before on TikTok, we actually didn't know that the father died because we don't really go out and talk to our neighbors. We mostly keep to ourselves. So we didn't know that the father died, but it kept in line with the trend in their house, wherein one person would always die every year. So we have been working on this idea that maybe there's something wrong with that house. Aside from the fact that there are actually a lot of negativity, a lot of activity in that side of the fence. There was a time when paranormal investigators went over to our house to set up a protection when I was pregnant. And when they went here, they told us that, you're kind of lucky because if you were living in the house next door, you would have a lot of problems because that house is just teeming with entities. So we kind of didn't mind, like, okay, so the father died. It's really sad because now there's only one person living in that house next door. So we kind of didn't mind, really. But then after 40, I think it's like 2 months after the father died, the person or the mother that was living on the left side of our house died. And it was always something sudden. Like, we didn't even know that they died. Yeah, I know we don't really go out to talk to our neighbors, but we were actually very surprised because we, like, before that happened, we would always see that person walking outside, and then she suddenly died. And just like the father from the other side, like, it would always be a sudden thing. um so we were actually kind of shaken by that because there were two people that died, right? Like, with only a couple of months apart. And they were on the left side or on the right side of our house and on the left side of our house. So we were really shaken. And then, if you have been watching, if you are here from TikTok, you have probably been watching my videos on TikTok, wherein, or my, sorry, not my videos, but when I go live on TikTok, you would notice every time I go live, especially when I go live at night, usually I go live at around 7 p.m. up to midnight. And every time I go live, I would always tell my listeners, like, okay, so the dogs are howling again. Like, they are howling. Back then, the dog that was howling was the one from the house in front of the house on our right side. So the dog was always facing this house, the house on our right side. And then when the mother died, the mother here died, the dog that was howling was the one here in front of us. But we know that it was facing this side, our left side. And then all of a sudden, we were not ready for that. My mother suddenly got sick, so she couldn't breathe. We all thought that it was COVID. We went to the hospital. Her O2 sat was 80. So if you know medical things, you know that 80 is not a good O2 sat rate. I don't know what to call it, but it's not good. So she was really struggling to breathe, and then so we brought her to the hospital. When we went when we went there, we were told that it is a possible COVID problem or COVID patient. So we had to bring her to another hospital in Kansas City. So we did, and she was tested for COVID, wherein she tested negative. So we were like, we all breathed a sigh of relief because, okay, at least she's not COVID positive. But she's fully vaccinated, so we weren't that worried. But yeah, of course, if your mother can't breathe, that is worrying, right? So when we went to the hospital, she underwent a lot of tests, and a lot of those tests were, like, the results of those tests were not good. And we were thinking, okay, that is actually very sudden. The moment she started, like the moment she had some difficulty in breathing, um, our dog started howling. So I was thinking at that time, I was actually thinking, okay, so I feel like we really should move. I feel like we should like leave all of our stuff here and just go somewhere else, live somewhere else, sell this house because I feel like it's like this is not good. Like the house on our right side and then the house on our left side, people were dying left and right. And then a doctor told us that, if we didn't bring our mother to the hospital at that exact day that we did, she might have not survived that. So we were actually very scared. And so she was in the hospital for 25 days. And that's why I was not active at all, of course. I was worried, everything. And then she was able to go home. At that time, I was able to convince my mother and I was able to convince my husband that we have to move. So they both said yes. Um, so after that, we went back home and my mother was still not feeling that well. Of course, like she was already much better than when we first brought her to the hospital, but she wasn't 100%, okay yet. So I was like, okay, I have already done my spell work. I have done some healing spells for her. And I'm going to share that healing spell that I did because it actually worked really well. But I'm going to share that in another video. But anyway, I was like, okay, so I feel like the problem is connected to the land. It's connected to like the place on the right side. I feel like that's the thing that's causing problems. So I was like, okay, I feel like we need someone who knows how to deal with that. So we called an albulario. And so the albulario, for those of you who do not know Filipino or Tagalog, an albulario is like a faith healer. So the albulario performed pagtatawas, which is divination using candles and a basin of water. Although the way he did tawas was actually very different. Um, she was able, or he was able to see that the entity was an old man. And the old man was, he told us that the old man was just, he would always go around this whole place. So I was like, okay, that's actually really scary. So what does he want? I asked him. I asked him, and he was like, um, he was basically taking people. So I was really shaken by that. So I was like, okay, we really need to move ASAP. But he performed a lot of protection. So he did a protection in this side of the fence because he knew that the entity was coming from that side of the house. So I was like, okay, he did a protection. So we went to sleep. Okay, when we went to sleep here, my mom went to sleep with my aunt with her sister, and I went to sleep here. So when I was sleeping, I had a dream, and in my dream, there was an old man. I forgot what he looked like, but there was an old man who was asking me something. He was like asking, he wants me to give him something. And I was like, I can't, I don't even know what you're asking. I don't know what to give you. And the old man was really mad. I was like, just wait. And I was like, okay. I woke up. I was not able to go back to sleep. The next night, we still slept here. And I didn't have any dreams, but my son, so my son is only 3, right? So my son had a dream. So he woke up and then he was sitting in the bed and he was looking at the window and was like saying, no, I don't like it, I don't like. So he kept on repeating that, and it was moving away from the window. So I hugged him and was like, okay, it's okay, I'm right here, it's okay. So after that, my husband decided that me and my son should start sleeping on my aunt's house too, just for us to be safe, because he was not feeling anything anyway. So he was the one who was left here so that he could make sure that nothing else is going to happen. Of course, we don't want, we don't want to get robbed or anything. So after that, we talked to the albulario again, and he performed a healing on my mother. So my mother is feeling a lot better now. And at the same time, he wanted to do a complete protection on this house. But we're still waiting on that because, he's really old. So we're still waiting for that to happen. But so far, because he was sending us, like, he tried like this remote healing and remote protection, and it seems like it is working so far. It's like we're feeling a lot better now, and there aren't that much activity here anymore. So now we're not completely back to our normal yet. But unfortunately, like, we just realized that it's not that easy to sell a house. Like, it's really not that easy to sell a house. And so my mother and my husband does not want to sell the house anymore. They were like, okay, we have to wait, because it's really not easy to sell a house. So we just have to wait. If something else happens, then we are going to move. But as of now, we have to be really, logical in our decisions. And although I don't like their decision, of course I'm going to support them. So as of now, we're just, providing protection as much as I can. And so far it's doing well. We're doing well. So if you have been trying to contact me, if you have been sending me an email or sending me a message on Instagram or TikTok or wherever on Gmail, just know that that was what happened. So it's kind of freaky, really. I was really freaked out because it's very reminiscent of the things that happened to us in college. But, we're dealing with it and we're doing much better. Now I'm back to doing spell work again. I'm back to doing tarot readings again. So I will be posting more videos. I will be posting more videos here on YouTube and on other platforms as well. I have been much active on Instagram again, and yeah, we're trying to go back to normal. So thank you for listening. If you have watched this whole thing, sorry, that's a rat, but thank you for listening. If you have watched the whole thing, thank you so much for that, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye.